The definition of contemplation in the dictionary is the action of looking thoughtfully at something for a long time. It also means concentration on spiritual things as a form of private devotion, or an act of considering with attention, or the act of consistent focus, or a state of mystical awareness of the divine presence, Allah. Allah says in Ayah 191 in Surah number 3, those who remember Allah while standing and sitting and on their sides, and they reflect upon or contemplate the creation of the heaven and the earth. And the ayat continues, but what can catch our attention here is the idea that the person is almost obsessed by remembering Allah all the time, standing, sitting, laying on their sides. They are devoted, they are passionate about knowing Allah, and they are in continuous dhikr, reminding themselves of the divine presence and contemplating the creation of the heavens and the earth as ayat from Allah. And that may lead them to that mystical awareness or spiritual experience of Allah's presence. Ibn Ata, Allah's secondary, the great Sufi, says, contemplation is the lamp of the heart. When it goes away, there is no light for it. To him, contemplation is of two types. Number one, contemplation of belief and faith. So that is more on the intellectual aspect only, like it's external contemplation of beliefs and faith and the external world. And he said this is for those who are apt to learn lessons from what they see and hear externally. Number two is contemplation of witnessing and seeing, mushahada and ru'ya. And the second is for those that experience the vision of Allah and have insight. So they receive something inwardly. And Ibn Arabi describes this state of a spiritual experience or being receptive inwardly to the divine presence and receiving insight from Allah is that the heart experiences drunkenness or sukr, like joy, a state of joy where the mind almost is lost but not fully lost. It's a glimpse of loss to the degree that the intellect or the higher rationality becomes lucid or experience sahw, complete wakefulness or lucidity. So when the heart is passionate about Allah and is devoted and is in love of wanting to know and experience the presence of the truly real, al-haq, then it loses itself in that contemplation. It loses itself in that devotion, but immediately there is both drunkenness or sukr, ecstasy and joy, and lucidity or wakefulness, complete wakefulness with an aha moment, an epiphany of insight and vision of the truly real. And Ibn Arabi explains that during such spiritual experience, all your senses and all of your faculties becomes awakened and aware and are involved. Your imagination, your five senses, your inner senses, your feelings, your intuitions are in reality at that experience instruments for the heart. So to him, the heart is a supra-rational rather than an anti-rational faculty. This is perhaps especially important because we live in an era that idolize secular rationalism. And that is on account of the mystical and creative imagination insight. Both has to go hand in hand, but which comes first? Rationality. Rationality can help us in the worldly way, but mystical insight can actually awaken our higher rational faculty or awareness or lucidity, as they call it. Ibn Arabi Farser says, He made you, Allah made you a sign, ayah, or a demonstrative evident, dalil, of Allah's existence. You are a dalil, you are an evident or a sign, ayah, of Allah's existence. Then he continued to explain, that is, he made your knowledge of yourself a sign. Your knowledge of yourself is an ayah or a demonstrative evidence to your knowledge of Allah. He explains this is either by way of the fact that he describes you with the same essence and attributes with which he describes himself, and he made you his vicegerent and deputy upon the earth, or it is that you have poverty, spiritually speaking, and you are in need for him in your existence, or it is the two affairs together. That need is what makes you genuinely seek Allah, and so you get qualified. He qualifies you with his attribute. He bestow upon you his attributes so you can get to know yourself, and so you know him. Know yourself and you will know your masterful nurturer, your Lord Allah. Ibn Arabi Farser says, nothing walks in the cosmos without walking as a messenger, Rasul, with a message, Risala. This is a high knowledge, he says. Even the worms in their movements are rushing with a message to those who can understand it. For example, when you look at the whiskers of the cat and contemplate that, and contemplate how every creature have something that protects them in a way. Their senses or the mechanisms by which they protect themselves. Some creature camouflage, some fly, some run fast, some can sting, some can secrete bad odor. So they all have mechanisms of protection. But the form itself, like the cat or the bird or any creature, will die. But the quality of protection has always been exhibited in the universe. Even when you look at the inanimate creatures, such as the earth, actually Ibn Arabi says that everything is alive, but let us just assume they are not, and look at the earth, you will find that it spins around its axis, and that centrifuge force protects the earth from being attracted and disappearing by any larger body. At the same time, because the sun is massive and it attracts the earth, then it makes the earth rotate around a particular orbit, and that protects the earth's existence. The earth also has a magnetic field that filters the harmful rays from the sun that can be harmful to the creatures that live on earth, including ourselves. So again, you can see there is a protection. So all of the bodies in the other spheres and orbits, the planets, the stars, they are all have mechanisms that protect them, similar mechanisms. So Allah has always been exhibiting His quality of protection. If you look also at the tree and contemplate it, and came from a small seed, you see Allah's generosity. When you see that how Allah raises the water to the leaves, you see Allah Ar-Rafi', the one who exalts. And you see how the water goes down to the roots also, or so you can see how Allah is Ar-Rafi' Al-Khafid, the exalter, the one who exalts or raises something, and the one who lowers or abases something. Even if you look at your own heart, you see the constrictor, Al-Qabid, and the expander, Al-Basit. Your heart constricts and expands. So wherever you look, you can see qualities that manage the universe or control the universe. It is what makes the universe function. And so you see everything as a messenger or a message. Not only that, but because everything is in continuous flux, everything may give you a message when you see it. For example, there is a funny story about a Sufi teacher who was walking on the street and having his own moment of boastfulness. He thought that now he has disciples, now he achieved this, life cannot get better. And it is said that at that point, a donkey farted on his face and wake him up. He saw it as a message from Allah to humble him. And right away he prostrated, he made sajda and asked Allah forgiveness. So likewise, you can take a lesson or contemplate or take a message from anything you see. And that is the essence of contemplation. You can contemplate a flower or an action of a person, an interaction with a person, anything you can contemplate with the purpose of seeing Allah's message in it. Ibn Arabi says that the self is an ocean which has no shore. There is no end to the contemplation of it in this world or the next, for it is the closest sign, ayah, or demonstrative evident, dalil, of your Lord, your masterful nurturer. The more you contemplate it, the more your knowledge of it, of your own soul, increases, and the more your knowledge of your Lord, your masterful nurturer, increases.